We're going to be talking about Zach Thomas. But if all this news keeps breaking late, you're going to keep getting these late videos. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, I'm gonna talk about Zach Thomas. But there's some news that came out. Some happened before I made the press conference video, but a lot came afterwards. So you're getting this video, I'm recording it at 11 o'clock at night. You probably get it up at midnight. And if more news breaks tomorrow, I will get you that news tomorrow. Before we jump into that, I have to shout out some new patrons. Thank you so much for joining the Patreon. If you want, it's linked in the description below. Angry Vet 19D and Finn's Fan for Life. Thank you guys so much for joining the Patreon. I am going to start doing specific things just for the Patreon, specific videos. I think the first video I might do, first I have to thank you guys for helping me hit 30K, but I might show you guys how I edit my videos. So if any of you guys are interested in wanting to edit videos and get into this line of work, I think I'm going to do a special video on how to edit videos and all that stuff over on the Patreon. So if you want to go over, check that out. But yeah, let's jump into this. First and foremost, the Dolphins have fired defensive back coach Gerald Alexander, who went and interviewed with the Jaguars for the defensive coordinator position. He did not get it. I thought, okay, cool. Maybe he'll come back as some type of, maybe they'll try to interview him for DC, maybe stay a DB coach, but then he ends up getting fired. Now, it's not that he left. He ended up getting fired, which I thought was very interesting. I know his wife came out and said, and in a tweet saying that essentially during that stretch where the Dolphin defense started playing really well, he was calling plays on defense. You could take that however you want, but unfortunately he was released. And I liked him. He was probably one of the best coaches we had, so it sucks to see him go. Brandon Jones came out and said how much he impacted him and his growth and everything, so it's going to really suck to see him go. Bad news? Good news. Wes Welker is our wide receiver coach. Bringing Wes Welker back to Miami. I always tell this story, but I'll really quickly tell you a fun story about Wes Welker. First time I ever went to go watch the Dolphins play in... I think it was called Dolphin Stadium at the time. Wes Welker was his first year with us. We playing the Chiefs, and I was infatuated with Wes Welker. I think I was like 18 at the time. I was like, oh my God, I got to get his jersey. So when I left, they used to have the big 18 wheelers with the side of the trailer would open, and that's where you could buy your jerseys and stuff. And I bought a Wes Welker jersey. I was so happy. He was doing everything. He was kicking, punting, kick returning, all that stuff. And then that offseason, we traded him to the Patriots for a second-round pick. I still have that jersey. I still have that Wes Welker jersey. But I'm so happy he's coming back as the wide receiver coach. Deebo Samuel came out and said he was crucial in his development. So I can't wait to see what he can do with our wide receivers, especially Jalen Waddle. So I'm very happy Wes Welker is the Miami Dolphins coach. I have some bad news. So bad, good, bad. Vic Fangio is meeting with John Lynch in the 49ers, potentially to join their staff. I hope not. I hope something falls through, or someone on the Dolphins calls him up and says, listen, come, you'll be our defensive coordinator. I don't understand why they're not doing it. Go get Vic Fangio, please. So that's some bad news. Dolphins are interviewing Curtis Johnson for their offensive coordinator position. This is the second guy they interviewed for the offensive coordinator position. He is the senior offensive assistant / wide receiver coach for the New Orleans Saints. He was with the Saints as a senior offense assistant from 2017 to 2020, and then this past year they added him to the wide receiver coach position. Been in the NFL for a minute. It was the Chicago Bears 2016 as a wide receiver coach, head coach at Tulane from 2012 to 2015. New Orleans again, 2016 to 2011, wide receiver coach. Miami University, Florida, the U. 1996 to 2005, wide receiver coach, and then mostly in college. So he's going to come in, interview for the offensive coordinator position. Again, we found out that Mike McDaniel is going to be calling plays on offense, so I wouldn't be surprised if they don't bring in an experienced OC being that it's going to be a collaborative effort between him and whoever the OC is. I would expect an experienced DC, and I hope they do bring in an experienced defensive coordinator. For the love of God, Vic Fangio. And then finally, before we get into what I probably titled this video, George Godsey is hired as the Ravens tight end coach. So one of the two of our co-offense coordinators is gone and joined the Ravens. And I'm pretty sure that was Godsey. I'm trying to remember the Studsville will probably not be with us either. So let's look at Zach Thomas. So again, Zach Thomas gets snubbed out of the Hall of Fame. And the ones that got in were Tony Baselli, Leroy Butler, Sam Mills, Richard Seymour, Bryant Young, Cliff Branch, Art McNally, and Dick Vermeil are the ones that got into the Hall of Fame. And again, Zach Thomas did not. And I think, you know, I might be biased, but I think it is a complete travesty that at this point, Zach Thomas hasn't gotten to the Hall of Fame. We saw Brian Urlacher. I think he was the first ballot getting into the Hall of Fame. Brian Urlacher, a lot of people like to equate, you know, playoff appearances. He got to the Super Bowl big. Yes, okay. I'm not saying Zach Thomas is better than Brian Urlacher. I know we always put the stats up to show the two. But the fact that Brian Urlacher got in, right, when he did, him and Zach Thomas have extremely similar stats. That was, I think Brian Urlacher got in like, what, 4 years ago. And Zach Thomas is still waiting is what bothers me. I'm not saying one's better than the other. What I'm saying is, at this point, Zach Thomas deserves to be in if you're putting Brian Urlacher in. Because Brian Urlacher, sure, deserves to be a first ballot because of the accolades with the postseason. But at this point, Zach Thomas deserves to be in. It's just ridiculous at this point. And I look at this list, right? And there's some players that I'm like, Zach Thomas should be in over those players. Sam Mills, right? No, and this isn't, I'm not knocking these players. I'm not saying they don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying at this point, I think Zach Thomas should be in over them. You look at Zach Thomas's career numbers, right? Zach Thomas, 1,734 tackles, 20.5 sacks, 17 interceptions, 4 touchdowns, right? You look at Sam Mills' career stats, 1,265 tackles. Zach Thomas had about 500 more tackles, 20.5 sacks, about the same as Zach Thomas, actually the same as Zach Thomas. 11 interceptions, 6 less than Zach Thomas, and only 1 touchdown, 3 less than Zach Thomas, and he gets into the Hall of Fame. You look at another guy that I'm like, I get it, right? Leroy Butler, he's been waiting a long time, but I don't think he deserved to get in over Zach Thomas. There was a stat that was put out by the NFL on CBS saying, list of every NFL player with 5 first-team All-Pro selections and 1,500 career tackles. Ray Lewis, Hall of Fame. Junior Seau, Hall of Fame. Derek Brooks, Hall of Fame. Zach Thomas. Now, again, you look at some of them. Ray Lewis has Super Bowl rings. Derek Brooks has a Super Bowl ring. Junior Seau doesn't have a Super Bowl ring, but he's gotten to the postseason. Zach Thomas deserves, at this point, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. It's a travesty. I wish I could come up with more words. It's ridiculous that he's waiting this long to get into the Hall of Fame. And he's probably going to be like a Sam Mills. He's probably going to be like a Leroy Butler, where he's going to be waiting a ridiculous amount of time. And then when he finally gets in, you know, the stats are going to be inflated, and players that are going to have better stats than him because whatever the game is now is going to be different. They're going to be like, Zach Thomas got in over yada yada. I never said Zach Thomas should have been a first ballot because, yes, he didn't have the playoff experience, never got to the Super Bowl, any of that stuff. And it's a team sport. As much as, you know, people want, you know, this is an individual accolade, it's a team sport. So, but I think he should have been at least second, third. Now, how long has he been waiting? Like 4 or 5 years, if my brain is correct. He should be in by now. It's just ridiculous at this point. And then, of course, next year, I think the list is even harder for him to get into the Hall of Fame. So next year, you're going to add Joe Thomas, Dwight Freeney, James Harrison, Darrelle Revis to the list of potential first ballot Hall of Famers to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So, again, at this point, it doesn't seem like Zach Thomas is probably going to get it anytime soon, which is just, it's sad. It's absolutely sad with the amount of stuff that he had to overcome with his height and everything, and him still playing at a high level, still playing and getting stats at a high level. He was a pivotal part of that defense that was just controlling and helping the Dolphins win for so long. Him, Jason Taylor, Patrick Surtain, Sam Madison, McKnight, all of them, Tim Bowens, even had Junior Seau with them. It's just messed up, and it bothers me that every year we're like, could this be the year? Could this be the year? And then, nope, it's not the year that Zach Thomas is in, and it's just it's ridiculous that he is not in the Hall of Fame. Absolutely ridiculous. And I might sound like a homer, but again, I'm not saying he's a first ballot. Never said he was a first ballot, but at this point, he should have been in over Sam Mills and Leroy Butler. Definitely should have been in over them. But comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about the Dolphins releasing Gerald Alexander. What do you think about us bringing in Wes Welker as a wide receiver coach? I'm pumped about that. Fangio. Do you guys want Fangio? Do you want a different defensive coordinator? Let me know. Curtis Johnson interview, and Zach Thomas not getting in. Be sure to comment below. And other than that, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm hoping we get more news about assistants and everyone getting signed, so I'll probably make a video tomorrow talking about that. But other than that, guys, like usual, stay classy. Your fins up.